Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening in whichever part of the world you're in. Feel free to comment and share your own experiences in the comments below. Now, as for today, I want to be talking about how I got started as a VTuber. What happened was in December of 2021, I was on Twitter. I used my personal Twitter account mainly just to look at a lot of artwork, and the people I followed were retweeting a lot of art of particular characters. I thought they were from an anime or maybe someone's original character, but I noticed they had the same tags. When I investigated more, I found out that they're actually VTubers. At that point, I was kind of interested and curious as to what a VTuber was. I had heard of Kizuna Ai, but I don't recall the term VTuber at the time of watching her. So when I actually looked into it and I looked into all the things that a VTuber does, what I'm pertaining to is usually the independent VTubers. So a lot of the smaller VTubers too, they'll also be in charge of like their own graphics, they'll be in charge of their schedules and how they upload stuff, so on and so forth. I think a lot of the bigger VTubers actually have people that they hire, or maybe they do that themselves. I'm not too sure, but a lot of the stuff that you do as a VTuber, I thought was a lot of fun. Since I was very young, I have been very talkative. Also, my father has been teaching me how to, I guess, mess with the computer in a sense that I can learn new programs. So I've basically been doing graphic design, video editing, audio editing ever since I was a little girl. And that's kind of a lot of things I get to do as a content creator, as a VTuber on YouTube. I believe a lot of the VTubers on Twitch will edit their VODs or have an editor edit their VODs and upload them on YouTube, or they just upload the VODs. But most of the time they do have a separate YouTube channel that they upload content creation for. So I figured, okay, that's kind of cool. Also, for those that don't know, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on stream, I actually had wanted to try being a voice actor at some point. I had wanted to try doing Let's Plays. At the time when I was into Let's Plays and watching people play horror RPGs, and I would watch them play, I don't think they streamed them. If they did, I was probably watching the VODs on YouTube, but I had wanted to try that, where you just play a game and you talk. Of course, at the time, I was like 12 or 13, didn't know what I was doing. My father was kind enough and supportive enough to get me a laptop. Yes, it was an older laptop that had Pokemon on it, and I was playing Pokemon. But I didn't know anything about the streaming software. I didn't know any of the screen recording software. At the time, I gave up. I thought, okay, same with the voice acting thing. I gave up on that as well. When I got into high school, I got really into 3D animation and graphic design. When I graduated, I thought, okay, I want to stick with graphic design, but I still know how to do the other skills I have, which is video editing, audio editing, so on and so forth. So when I had entered university, I can't say what my degree was. Again, I don't know if there's like a specific name for my university or the other universities. I don't know. All I have to know is it was very much an umbrella term. Honestly, though, all they taught us was a bunch of communication stuff and film, which I really do appreciate, but I didn't get into a lot of technical stuff, so I'm still very much self-taught. I think the only thing I was in a class for was for audio editing, and I thought, okay, well, this is going to help. My knowledge of audio editing is going to help along the line, because I do know a few VTubers do voice packs. A few VTubers do recorded content with like really good microphones. I thought, okay, I can edit in Adobe Audition, so on and so forth. Anyways, I had all this knowledge. I had this wanting to try to be a VTuber. Oh, another big thing. I was really into anime. I still am into anime. I'm a big anime fan. I thought, okay, cool, I can be a cute anime girl. As a creative person, as an artist, no, I'm not really good at illustrations. I'm practicing though, but as an artist, as a very creative person, I just jumped into it and started designing. So the first character design I came up with, I liked it, but I changed my mind along the line. I said, okay, the persona I want to show is probably an elegant kind of person, very onechan, but then I also want to have a very quirky side. So that was my initial thoughts after my first design. I said, okay, no, I'm going to change it. Because my first design was very playful. For those that don't know, my name is Antonia Valentine. I'm a vampire VTuber. I have, I guess, a sort of mascot or a pet. She's a magical cat, purple magic cat. Her name is Lena. My initial design was actually a human version of Lena. So that was my first design. Did not go with it after all, and I ended up going with like this purple cat Lena. I really don't know how I came up with her. I just thought of a cute cotton candy blob that ended up being a cat. That's how Lena was born. But my first name I had come up with was Lena Starlight. I ended up changing my mind and I thought, okay, let's go with Antonia. I really don't know how I came up with that name, if I'm being quite honest. Also, for those that don't know, I am Hispanic. So I thought, okay, Antonia Valentine sounds really nice. It's kind of got that ring to it. My actual own name, my personal name, actually doesn't sound very Hispanic, just my middle name. So I thought, okay, in this way, I would actually want a name that sounds, I guess, that has that vibe in a sense. Because my own name doesn't have that for personal reasons, but my own name does not have that. So I thought, okay, that's fun. And I kind of just, I don't know what came up with the vampire motif. I think the design I came up with for Antonia with my VTuber design, it gave me an elegant vampire from the 1800s vibe. That was just the vibe I got. And again, my character could be anything. I could have gone with any other angle. I could have been a demon. I could have just been some regular chick. I could have been anything, but I went with the vampire. I thought, yeah, that's fun. That's great. I'm pretty much a night owl most of the time. Don't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Do be advised, you don't have to come up with a VTuber design right away. And in my case, I didn't stick with my initial design. I changed it, but I had changed it prior to getting a commission from an artist. So after I had the design, I started working on the overlays. And again, you don't have to follow this order. This is just how I did it because I am a graphic designer. And what mainly like caught my attention as a VTuber was, oh my gosh, you can come up with your own design and overlays? Wow! So that's kind of what drew me in initially was, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I came up with my overlays. Again, the initial ones I came up with, I changed them slightly. I have changed them since then, not by a lot. Probably going to change them again very soon. I'll get into further detail on why there's so many changes in regards to like overlays and layouts and whatnot, as well as VTuber models, so on and so forth. But as of right now, I'm just starting you off with what I had done initially. So I got my design. I thought, okay, this is cool. I looked on Twitter, because again, I'm very much a Twitter person. Not so much that I comment a lot on Twitter. It's just I was very active in the artist community on Twitter and the Donmei community on Twitter. During COVID, I bought so much Donmei merch. Oh my god. I bought so much. A lot of zines, is that what it's called? Fanzines as well. I bought a bunch of those. I got really into Genshin Impact. Mainly Twitter is just my art haven. So I checked to Twitter, I went to Twitter, and I tried to look up PNG Tuber and like the model prices. Do keep in mind that they're very expensive. For good reason though. For good reason. I believe most of the artists, their prices include the commercial use. You might want to double check if you do commission somebody. That's what I always ask is like, oh, does this include the commercial use? How much with the commercial use? For those that don't know what commercial use is basically you can use the artwork, you can use the piece, you can use the work to make money, to make a profit. I believe there's different contracts if you use the artwork to make products, but you usually kind of talk that out with the artist, the person you're commissioning, saying, hey, I'm going to use it for this, this, and this. Usually they'll have a commission sheet that includes the terms and services and what you can use it for. If not, you can go ahead and ask the artist kindly, say, hey, I really like your work. I was wondering if you can give me a quote or give me a price for a work that's commercial use. A lot of artists will say, no, I don't want to do that, or like, no, it's okay. Be understanding of that. Some people don't know how to do their rates and prices. Even I don't know how to do them. For my graphic design work, my mentor had recommended maybe like $50 an hour just to start off. I said, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Again, it's very different among people, very different among different places and areas and taxes and whatnot. You would have to look that up individually. And also, I'm giving advice as a paying customer. I'm not giving advice as someone who does VTuber models, who does character sheets, who does models, I don't have any knowledge of that. I can't give you any advice for that. I suggest you seek it from probably the artist VTubers. They would know more than I would. um, but anyways, I'm getting off track. So I went to Twitter and I tried to look at all the prices. I was starting off, I really didn't know what to do, and I was recommended to do a PNG because that was probably the cheapest route. I was like, okay. I did find an artist. It was much_manga on Twitter. They do wonderful work. I managed to get a really cheap PNG of an open and closed mouth expression. Basically what that means is you can pick a program. I think a lot of people use Discord, and while you're not talking, your model looks like this. And then when you are talking, it'll look like this. Like it's open mouth, like you're talking. Sometimes people have like a little motion. Sometimes it's just still. Sometimes people don't even have a VTuber model. They just do a voice and they'll use their model for other stuff. It just depends what you're streaming. So I found an artist. It was really cheap. I double checked with them. It was for commercial use. And they said, yes, it is. I was like, okay, cool. So then went through the commission, paid them. And do keep in mind, some artists will do 50% down payment and some want in full. And also just double check if they are legitimate artists, check if other people have commissioned them, check, I guess if they have, I don't want to say good rating. I know some people get their stuff on Fiverr, so I guess at that point you can check the reviews and whatnot, but just do double check. On both sides, there are clients that want to trick you, and there are, I guess, business people that want to trick you, or I guess people that accept commissions that want to trick you. So just be mindful when you do commission people. Most of the time when I did look into it, they were all very legitimate artists, very wonderful artists, very kind. And that's just the one I decided to go with initially. So I got my PNG. I was very happy. I had my overlays. I thought, okay. And by then, this was already in January. I was very quick on this. I felt very passionate about wanting to be a VTuber, wanting to get into this, and wanting to try this. Some of you might not feel like that at first. So you might think, oh, this is a cute little hobby. Or maybe you were already streamers. You thought, okay, I want to look like a cool anime character or a cool just character of sorts instead of looking like yourself. So you could probably just get into it. This is coming from a person that had no streaming experience whatsoever. I had no experience playing other video games aside from Pokemon and Genshin Impact, Animal Crossing, super basic. I had no experience whatsoever. But I had a background in computer programs. I had a background in being a fast learner for these kinds of programs. And I am just known for going headlong into an idea. Oh, goodness. I guess sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. But I really wanted to do this. Even a good friend of mine said, I have not seen you this passionate in years. I said, I know. At this point, I was kind of unsure of what I want to do. I thought I want to be a graphic designer or a video editor or something. I don't know. I'll get into further detail on how I was feeling about that in probably another Tonia talk. But for right now, I had the model. I had my overlays. I thought, okay, what next? I got onto YouTube and I just started looking up streaming software because I thought, okay, well, I need software to figure out how the heck I'm going to stream either on Twitch or YouTube. As a graphic designer, I really like the idea of making thumbnails. So I decided, okay, I'm going to stream on YouTube. That was just my main decision, was the thumbnails. Honestly, that was it. Also, I plan to make some videos for content creation and whatnot, for perhaps how-tos, perhaps other things. I wasn't sure. I like to do a lot of stuff. I know a lot of the advice is pick a niche down, and stick with it. I get bored very easily with a lot of things, or I get frustrated. I'll go into detail about that later. So my idea was, I'll stream on YouTube. I can upload a bunch of random videos. I can make thumbnails, and that was my main selling point to go to YouTube. I know a lot of people go to Twitch. I can't offer you any advice there. I suggest asking or going to other VTubers channels and asking how they started on Twitch, how they're going about it. But I have no experience with Twitch. The only experience I have is attending other VTubers streams on Twitch and being in their chat. That is all the experience I have on Twitch. So I'm very sorry about that. If you did plan on streaming on Twitch, I can't really help you there. But I do believe they use the same software. It's either OBS or OBS Streamlabs. When I was doing research, it seems OBS was less strenuous on a computer. Streamlabs is more strenuous. But personally, I like the aesthetic of Streamlabs. It just looked rounded, easy, simple, click, click, click. I know how to work OBS. I just preferred Streamlabs, even if it did put a little bit of extra strain on my computer. I just hope for the best. So at that point, I said, okay, let's look up the software. What do we got? What do we got? We got this, this, and this. I was like, okay, guys, word of the wise, please don't look up VTuber this, VTuber that. When it comes to looking up how to use a program, just don't. The only time you need to look up VTuber is how to hook up the program that you're using for your model for the tracking, is how to hook that up to either Streamlabs or OBS or any other streaming software. That's the only time you should look up VTuber for the technical stuff. Okay, but don't look up, oh, VTuber, how to use OBS, VTuber, how to use, no, just look up how to use OBS and look up how to use Streamlabs. Look up how to connect to YouTube, how to get started on YouTube. There's a whole process when I got started on YouTube, is there's a verification process, and I think there's a waiting period, and so on and so forth. Another heads up for YouTube is you actually can't monetize until you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, or 10 million views on shorts. So obviously you won't be getting paid or memberships right away if you do choose the YouTube route. I think on Twitch you can get memberships and whatnot, and I think there's a partnership or something. Again, I don't use Twitch, so I don't know much about it. I'm very sorry about that. But it is going to take longer to get monetized on YouTube, if that is your goal. I just wanted to try give VTubing a try, because it basically had everything I enjoyed doing, and I really do love talking to people, and I thought it'd be a really fun experience overall. So I figured out the software, I hooked up the software, and another step that I had to take during this time I was trying to learn it was, getting equipment. Again, this is probably where lots of people's paths differ. For the job I wanted after I graduated in December of 2022. For the job I wanted, it would involve either graphic design, video editing, or audio editing. One of those three things is kind of just the general area of what I want to get started on. So for me to invest in money on a Stream Deck, on a, ¿cómo se dice? For those that don't know, that means how do you say in Spanish? I say that a lot, forgive me. A microphone, a better screen, a better computer, those were investments for me along the line, since that is the kind of work I want to get into as a career. What's highly recommended for a lot of people is just get a very cheap microphone, find a used phone, either on some app or online on eBay or something, just something cheap that you can use for your model tracking, or a cheap webcam. You don't need a Stream Deck, you don't need a giant monitor, heck, you don't even need a computer. A few people started off on a laptop. In fact, I believe Petra from Niji Sanji En was on a laptop for a while, so she's doing all of her streaming on a laptop. But you don't need to get all this equipment. I just got it because down the line, I was going to need it for the work I want to do. Okay, so again, you don't need all this fancy equipment. There is a VTuber, he's known as VTuber Senpai, and he does give recommendations on very cheap stuff that you can pick out from, that you can start off with. But this is with the intention, like the list he gives you is with the intention that you might improve down the line, or you can just use it as a hobby. It really just depends. So I got my equipment, I got everything set up, and during this time as well, again, I did all this in January, February of 2022. I still had my part-time job at the time. I was doing university, so I was just juggling all this around. My usual work ethic is that my part-time job and my school took priority. So obviously I couldn't get this done as fast as probably most people could. I wasn't at a point where I was just having my part-time job. I was attending university. I was attending full-time, and I had that part-time job, so on and so forth, Those are just where my priorities were at the time. So again, it might be different for you. Your situation might be completely different, but that's just how I saw it. I will get into further detail about being a VTuber and going to school either as a high schooler or a university. At the time of starting VTubing, I was in university. Might be different for other people, but I'll go over that in another video. Anyways, so I was learning all this at the same time. Another thing you need to learn is the proper VTuber etiquette and lingo. What that means is that I was learning the terms oshi, learning the terms Taskaru or like GG, which is good game, learning the word pog, just trying to learn some memes. VTubing is a culture in and of itself. There's individual niches and genres within it, but it's just a whole culture. So I was just kind of researching what VTubing was, where it came from, researching what a bunch of VTubers were doing, who VTubers were, essentially, and just seeing what they streamed, how they did things, so on and so forth. Just a lot of research, just so you know what you're getting into and how to act in a way that is, I don't want to say admirable, but proper. Just being kind and essentially just being, you don't have to be professional, but you are an entertainer. You're getting into this as an entertainer, as a streamer, as a content creator, so on and so forth. So that's how you're getting into it. And you just kind of gotta know the proper etiquette for it. So that's just what I did. After I got everything set up, so I hooked up the microphone, hooked up this. It was a very long process. Same with the microphone stuff too. Don't look up VTuber this. Don't look at, the only time you need to look up VTuber, I'm going to reiterate this, is when you're hooking up your model, whatever model file you have, into whatever software you're using for your tracking, for your face tracking, and then hooking up that software to OBS or Streamlabs. As the only time you look it up. But if you're looking up a specific microphone, if you're looking up how to hook up something on your computer, how to connect stuff, just look that up. I've been seeing that a lot, where when I've attended certain VTuber helping streams, particularly VTuber Senpai, people are asking questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? That is so easy to look up on YouTube. Just don't attach VTuber to it. I feel that a lot of people were looking up VTuber this, VTuber that. If it's not pertaining to your model, perhaps a design, lore, how to hook up to the specific VTuber programs you're using, or 3D animation programs and whatnot, if it's not in regards to that, you don't need to add VTuber to the search tag. I mean, yes, there are people who are starting to make specific videos catered towards VTubers, but a lot of stuff that I found was just how to hook up my Blue Yeti, settings for the Blue Yeti, settings for OBS Streamlabs, how to hook up this, settings for this computer, for that computer, so on and so forth. That's all I did. So I'm still at this point where it's like, okay, I have everything set up. What do I want to do? I thought, well, I'm barely starting out. I really like talking. My 13, 12-year-old heart was saying, let's do Let's Plays. Let's play games. I was like, yeah, let's do that. So I hooked up my Switch because that seemed very quick. Again, look up Switch adapter, look up how to hook up the Switch. Don't type in VTuber, just look up how to do it. There are so many different ways. And do keep in mind, this also is a little pricey, because if you have a Switch, you need to get a video and audio adapter for the Switch. Excuse me. There is a video adapter and there's an audio adapter. Though those can be different. And then there's a video and audio adapter. Make sure you get that one, because that's going to transfer the audio from the Switch as well as the video feed from the Switch. If you just get the video, you're not going to get audio. If you just get the audio, you're not going to get the video. So just keep that in mind when you do look that up. I believe they have that same adapter for the PS4. I had decided to do the remote play for my PS4, but this is where I ran into my first problem. I had done a test stream with a friend of mine, and he was watching and I was watching. We were on the phone and I was asking questions, and I was kind of watching my own stream on my own phone on another account. The first problem I came on to was I had internet from the 90s and it was really cheap. I think it was a grandfather plan of sorts. They don't have this plan anymore. I'm currently paying about $30 for my internet. For my current internet, slightly better, they're currently charging about $100 to $150 for my internet, but slightly better. That's just my area. They have a monopoly. Within my area, there's like 3 main companies that charge internet, and they just have a monopoly on my area that they won't let any other outside sources come in. So it's very expensive. I don't plan on moving. I don't have the funds to move. And just, you know, as I said the first time, I don't plan on moving. I don't want to move. I love my city. I love where I live. And I am comfortable where I'm at, you know? So obviously I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to upgrade this at some point, but right now my current lag for my streams is about 20 seconds to a minute. I know that could be detrimental for some people. I know that could be bad. There's nothing I can do about it right now. I don't have the funds to start paying $150 to $200 a month. I can't jump from 30 to 150 to 200. So if you have bad internet, I highly recommend, if you have a moving model too, there's a setting on Streamlabs, I believe OBS, there's a setting for a dynamic bitrate. You can look this up on YouTube or Google. Click that and you shouldn't be like, you know, because that's how I start off when I started using this model. I'll go into detail about that, but I highly recommend that if you do have a moving model. I think PNG is okay. I didn't really have any problems with it. I didn't have to select that option until later. But yeah, that was my first problem. I was like, oh man, well, there's lag. And then also when I was using remote play for my PS4, there was also lag. So I couldn't play Genshin Impact. And I play on my PS4 my Genshin Impact every single day. So maybe a handful of days I miss because of classes and doing work for that. But aside from that, I play Genshin every single day. And the office that I have set up for my VTubing thing is on the other side of the house from my room where my PS4 is. So I just thought, I really don't want to move that. But I also can't afford to buy another one. If by some miracle I win some PS5 in a lottery or something, I can probably just hook it up, my account on both of them, and bring the PS5 over here and just use a video audio adapter for that with the HDMI cable. And see if I can probably stream like PS5, PS4 games. But as of right now, at this point in time, when I was trying to practice and do, streaming practice in a sense with my friend, I did not want to bring my PS4 every single time I stream, set it back up, take it back, so on and so forth. I just didn't want to do that. Also, I was very unsure if the internet was going to last. Currently, my PS4 is directly hooked up with the Ethernet cable. Same with my computer, directly hooked up with the Ethernet cable. In fact, I have a second router in the back with me because the internet back here sucks. It cannot read it. I don't know why. Even when I switched to my phone mobile, did not work. So we have a separate router back here. That helps with it, so I can able to stream decently. Every now and then, if there is a lot of people on the internet at the same time, my family visits on the weekend, I can't stream. My stream looks cursed. So that's why I stream during the week and during the time that I do stream. Anyway, so along the story, I was practicing. I thought, okay, I can handle the lag. That's fine. Let's just stick to Switch games. This is fun. This is great. I picked out some games. I picked Pokemon Arceus. I picked Kirby. Just picked games I really liked, but also they're kind of current. I'll get into detail about picking current games and popular games versus games that you actually want to play. I'll get into detail about that a little later. But that's why I started off. Was okay, we'll do games. Another thing I'd want to do was audio skits. I thought, okay, well, I have experience with Adobe Audition. I have a really good microphone. Let's make audio skits with me and Lena. That would be great. So that was also my initial plan. And I'd started streaming around the end of March. So a little fun idea I did was audio skit for every day leading up to the time I start streaming. So that's why I started off. Was doing those little audio skits, having everything set up, having the YouTube channel set up, having all of my social media set up, putting the same name, having the same pictures. As a graphic designer, I did the banners and whatnot for whatever I need for the social medias, and so on and so forth. I was ready. I was ready to make that debut. Went to PowerPoint, made debut slides, hooked that up with the screen capture on Streamlabs. I thought, okay, let's go. So that was my first part of discovering what VTubing was, getting started. Now, in the beginning of streaming, I thought, okay, there's gonna be a bit of lag, but we'll be okay. It'll be fine. So, started streaming. One person came to my debut. I was very grateful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had fun. Had my debut and I thought, okay, let's start playing games. My screen would occasionally freeze and it was a bit slow at times. That was because my computer, it's still a good computer, it just couldn't handle everything that was going on. And sometimes I would have little panics like, oh my gosh, wait, hold on, and wait for it to unfreeze, and it was okay. I did try to improve it the best I could, but it is an older computer, Initially, I was very grateful for the improvements I did prior to finding out what VTubing was, because I had to do video editing assignments for class. And so I had to improve the computer, because prior to that, it was so much worse and I couldn't even open up Adobe Premiere. It kept freezing. Excuse me. I had to save the file like 1,000 times so it wouldn't die. It was just absolutely horrible. But I improved it a little and it was okay. I thought, okay, these little hiccups, as you all call scuff streams, I thought, it's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine. I continued. So Switch games are also really expensive. That was another thing I want to bring up, is games are expensive. I highly recommend going to see when there's sales, see what's on sale, see if you get them for really dirt cheap. I got the Amnesia series for like $2. Same with AI Somnium Files. I think I got for $7. I know a few people use Steam to stream. My computer couldn't handle Steam at the time. It could do like the horror RPGs, but even then it was really struggling. So I didn't do any PC streams at the time, but lots of people do get Steam, download their stuff, use the screen capture, so on and so forth. Get the games cheap when you can, because they're very expensive, especially Switch games. So I spent quite a bit of money getting my Pokemon Arceus, getting my Kirby. Luckily, I did see the sale for the other Switch games, so I got them very cheap. And I was just kind of picking games that I thought would be popular at the time. I thought would be fun. Luckily, the ones at the time of popularity were Kirby and the Pokemon game. I think it was Arceus. And what was it, Cult of the Lamb? It was Cult of the Lamb, if I remember correctly. So they were very popular at the time. I thought, okay, let's play this. I finished Kirby. Pokemon Arceus got very frustrating. Because apparently you can't get Arceus unless you have a complete Pokedex. I've never completed a Pokedex in my life. I've been playing all the Pokemon games ever since I was young, and I never completed Pokedex. So it was very frustrating, but my chat had fun. It was fine. Another thing to keep in mind when you start off, aside from the big price tag on a lot of things you're doing, people might not show up the first time you're there. Unless you are probably very active on another social media account, be like, guys, I'm going to start streaming soon. And a bunch of people might come over. In my case, I had no social media presence. Even for my real life persona, I'm not active on social media in that way. I use a specified username I came up with when I was 9. Okay? Or when I was 10. Something. I was young. Or whatever. Yeah, I can't remember. Don't ask me. My family makes fun of it. I love it. But that's just a username I've been using. And that's it. I don't have my real name. I guess maybe I do have a Facebook. I stopped using that though for personal reasons. So aside from that, I really had no online presence. I was just a consumer of art, fan art, and fanfic. That's it. So I had no previous audience. That one person who showed up at my debut did their best to show up on my other streams. They were just very supportive. Thank you so much. And I was basically talking to nobody. But I talk to myself a lot. Don't get me wrong, I really do. My mother will walk in, she's like, who are you talking to? I was like, nobody. She's like, can you not do that then? I was like, do what? She's like, talk to yourself. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was talking. Most of the time I am aware I am talking to myself. A lot of the time I really don't. Sometimes I really don't know that I am talking to myself. So I thought, okay, that's fine. But also it just helps you practice. I guess if you're talking to Eric, it helps you practice your commentary. So if you see something in a game that kind of looks suspicious, yeah, point it out. Be like, guys, I don't feel safe. That looks really suspicious. I think I might die. I don't want to go over there. I really don't. So you could say stuff like that, or say, oh my gosh, look, it's a doggy. Can I pet the doggy? Oh, crap, I can't pet the doggy. Okay, chat, we're gonna get close to the doggy. There, we're petting it, technically. Stuff like that. Talk to your chat. Talk to the people who are there. You know, sometimes your friends will show up, but you can talk to them too. I know in some cases it might show favoritism if you talk to certain people. But especially if you're starting off, if there's someone you're familiar with, try talking to them. Try talking to your chat. Just say, chat this, chat that. Practice, you know? And I don't know how Twitch is with their VODs. I don't know if they expire after a certain time or if they actually do stay on there. I'm not too sure. With YouTube, your VODs do stay. There's a setting on YouTube that you can click on that after your stream, the video will stay up. So just keep in mind, hey, if someone ever finds me and wants to watch a VOD of a video game I already played, at least they can have fun with the VOD. At least they can know my thoughts of what I'm thinking and how I'm playing it as I'm playing at the time. Even if they weren't there, I still would like them to have fun. That was the mindset I had when I started streaming, was that if no one's there, at least if they watch the VOD, they're going to have fun either way. And if I want to look back at the VOD and be like, huh, what the hell did I do? I can have fun with it, you know? So that was my mindset when I was streaming in the very beginning. Now I have a regular of probably 6 to 8 people that show up for my streams. I am very grateful for that. And again, it's okay if you can't show up. I know I have a lot of people say, oh, I'm sorry if I couldn't do it. Sorry, I couldn't do it. It's like, no, it's okay. You show up when you want to show up. And I do have a few viewers that will comment afterwards because they couldn't catch the stream, but they will watch the VOD and they'll give me their thoughts and say, oh, it was a good stream, or that was funny, so on and so forth. And you know, that makes me feel good. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad you had fun, even if you couldn't make it to the stream. Even if the time I started streaming wasn't good for you, at least you were able to watch the VOD and you did have fun. That makes me feel good, you know? So that was just kind of how I was going into this at first. And that's still my intention too when I'm streaming, is I want people to have fun with the VOD. That is still very much my intention. That is still my goal. But that's a recommendation of a mindset to have when you start off. Your intentions can change, your viewership can change, everything could change later on down the line, but that's just how I started off. Now, as for content on YouTube, I was still doing the audio skits. I was trying to do them once a week. On Twitter, it's very much I don't want to say meme culture, but everything either has to be funny or very cute and lovable. Just, oh my gosh. So I was trying to do like fun, I guess, meme photos and edits for Lena and whatnot, and for myself, so on and so forth. I ended up giving up on that later because I couldn't think of a lot of stuff. I was like, I'm funny, but I'm a spur of the moment funny. Like yesterday, I was eating with my friend. We were at fast food place because we have drawing sessions every other Sunday, and they're like, oh, it's a big piece of chicken sandwich. I was like, yeah, you're right. And then so after I finished talking, because I talk a lot, and I started eating, I was like, oh, holy shit, this is a giant piece of chicken. And he was like mid-chew and he started choking. I was like, oh my God, you okay? He's like, don't talk while I'm eating or drinking because you're gonna make me laugh. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Did that a lot at my graduation too. They were talking, giving a speech. I kept saying like little comments and the girls next to me were just laughing. They're like, oh. And I thought, oh, okay, that was funny. I'll come up with little stuff here and there. But for me to actually think about it, yeah, no, I'm good. Anyways, you just kind of have to learn the social media battleground. One thing I learned very early on, and what I'm still learning today, is each social media platform has a completely different audience. Completely different audience. An event could happen, and each social media platform will focus on an entirely different part of the exact same event. It's insane, okay? I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So it's very much a learning process. It's very much a learning curve. I don't know how to analyze data. I've just been kind of winging it. Now, as I am right now, I'm going to try a little harder to see if I can analyze each platform properly and see if I can cater my stuff depending on what each platform is looking for, what they promote, so on and so forth. But right now, it's just focusing on YouTube. I was like, YouTube, looking at other people's examples, putting up my schedule on Twitter, because at the time, they didn't have the community post until you had 500 subs. They changed that later, thank God. But even then, I don't know if people are seeing my community posts or not. I have no idea. You know, I just kind of upload my schedule and leave it at that. Now, the stuff I wanted to make for YouTube, I thought, okay, maybe I can try a how-to thingy. You know, how to do this, how to that, how to do that. Currently, the only how-to I have up is how to design a VTuber model. I will have that in the description below, so feel free to click on that and check it out. I have been told it's good by the very few people that saw it. They're like, hey, it's pretty good. I was like, okay, good. They said it actually helps for overall character design, and I do recommend that video. You don't have to follow order I do. I'm very much a visual learner, and I just make a bunch of random OCs for stuff. So I'm just very well versed in character design, and I do simple designs. I don't do anything overly elaborate. I don't know how to do that. I can't. I really did try. Didn't turn out good. I didn't like it. But I tried to simplify it afterwards. Didn't like that either. I was like, I'll just keep it. I'll just keep the design as is and we'll leave it at that. But I've been told my designs are very simple. I don't mind if they're simple. Having this nice dress, on and this little flower in my hair, that's good enough for me. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm content. And that's the overall thing about designing stuff, I guess, for yourself, for your VTuber model, is that you're content. You're happy with what you made up. That's all it comes down to. Who cares what other people say? Who cares what it's like, oh, this looks like this. Obviously, the number one thing you shouldn't do is copy others, like exact copies. Don't do that. But if you have a nice design and you come up with a good design, you're really happy with it, okay, great. That's going to be your face, so you better be happy with it, You can change it later on. It's highly recommended you don't change it too drastically. For me, I haven't changed my design. It's been pretty consistent throughout my PNG, my Chibi PNG, and my current 2D live model. Some people do change theirs a little bit. They do new outfits, but their overall design is still the same. As for overlays and stuff, that you can change. Do try to keep your color scheme the same though. That I do recommend. I have just a red, white, gold color scheme. It's kind of what I do. I have hearts and roses, as you can see behind me. Just try to keep it to that. But you can always change up styles and whatnot, Anyways. So as I was streaming, I wanted to try doing Zatsudans where I'm talking, because that was kind of like my main specialty, was just talking to people. Eventually, I had shifted to ASMR because it seemed to me, from the views I was seeing on YouTube after the stream, that's the VOD people looked at, was ASMR. And I have been told this very early on, even before I got into VTubing, was I had a nice voice. Whether you agree or not, it's up to you. It's fine if you don't. It's fine if you do. That's what I just been told. I was like, okay, I'll try ASMR. I personally don't like ASMR. When I listen to it, it makes me think someone is next to my ear, and it gives me like ghost vibes, because I've had a few instances where I've been very sleep deprived and I'm trying to go to sleep and I think I'm hearing someone calling my name, and it freaks me out. That's the only reason I'm not big of a fan of ASMR. I guess certain sounds are okay. If I had to like ASMR, it would probably be the ambient sounds, or I guess rain sounds, or just setting sounds, environmental sounds. I kind of like those. Those are nice. But if I'm getting sleepy and I need to go to bed, I'm good with the silence, the ticking of my clock. There's a few cases where I've been horribly afraid, where I woke up from nightmares, or I'm thinking of something really scary, and I'll put on music to not think about it or to not listen to it. But I will take off my music eventually, because I think there's like cases where it's like something happens to your ears or something. That's very, very rarely happened though. I think about 2-3 times that's happened. Most of the time I just watch a funny anime to help myself feel better, and then I'll go to bed. Anyway, so I kind of started moving towards that. That was kind of fun. Again, it's a process. It is a journey. It is a process. I should have started on shorts earlier, because who knew that would be my main selling point, was making really funny shorts, using the TikTok duets, using TikTok audios with Lena, and just kind of doing that. I didn't come up with my Lena plush until way later. I made her later purely just to use her for TikToks. So that was another angle I was going for. I was like, oh, let's try this. It ended up working out really well. I hit 1,000 before the year was over, before my full year of VTubing. Actually, I don't think it's my year anniversary. It probably might be the end of the month. Don't know if I'm going to do an anniversary for that. I still need to do my 1K celebration. But anyways. So your thought process on the whole journey is going to change a lot. Mine changed only because on my last semester of university, I had taken 2 art classes. One was an absolute nightmare. I'm pretty sure the professor is crazy. A lot of people who had her prior, who were in my class, thought that woman was crazy. My mentor, who actually works part-time at my university, thought she was crazy, and I agree. Crazy person, my god. My other art class, absolute angel. She made us think of the most thought-provoking subjects about art and the creative process. So because of that class, I think that helped me kind of pick a direction I want to go, which is be a creative person and get into more artistic avenues. So a lot of my hand cams, I wanted to try painting and perlers and wood carving and all this fun stuff, just wanting to try something, wanting to move forward, so on and so forth. And so for me, again, that can differ for a lot of people. You probably won't have that magical art class that just makes you think about all this stuff and makes you cry if you watch a TED Talk about creativity. It's like, oh my God, you know? And just your mindset's going to change. I'm sure my mindset is still going to change throughout this year, you know? And I look forward to it. You're going to evolve as a VTuber. You're going to evolve as a person, especially if you get into this and start interacting with people and entertain people and just start and do new things, you know? So it's okay if you're not successful in the beginning. I know in some cases people had a prior life, and so they learned how to reach success, or they've done their research, or they have background that's going to help them get to success. I think in a very few cases people get lucky and they hit it big. How they adapt to that afterwards is entirely up to them. But most of the time, you don't start out big. You start out small and you work your way up. You know, that's just how it is. That's how it is for a lot of careers, for a lot of hobbies, a lot of things you do. You start, you learn, you practice, you get the hang of it, and you still continue learning even after you get really good at it. You know, the world is ever evolving, is ever changing, and it's up to us to adapt and keep improving and learning what we would like to do, you know? And again, you don't have to pick something. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like that. Try it all. That's the number one thing my father always told me, is just give it a try. Why don't you try it? Just go ahead and give it a try. It's okay if you fail. You can learn from it. It's okay if you succeed. You can also learn from that too, you know? All right. I'm going to turn the page because I actually have notes. For those that don't know, I tend to ramble a lot, so I get off track very easily. Anyways, I started reaching, I don't want to say a burnout period, but I did start feeling when I started playing all the FNAF, I was getting frustrated. Playing those FNAF games on the Switch are an absolute nightmare. My God. I never finished Sister Location just because it was like, press this really tiny button in 0.1 second and you don't die. I was like, there was no freaking way I was gonna do that. Okay, I'm not that skilled. I couldn't even dodge bubbles on Genshin Impact during the events. Okay, there was no way I was gonna do that. Absolutely no freaking way. I gave up. I was feeling frustrated. I wanted to play games up to completion. That was not the way to go. That was absolutely not the way to go. I'm sure some people do that. There's some streamers that have really long, like 5 to 7 hour streams trying to complete a game. I can barely last like an hour to 4 hours, you know? Unless I'm just relaxing, not doing anything. Maybe I can last longer. As of right now, I don't have the physical stability to do that. You know, my back will start hurting. My voice starts to like get scratchy. I can feel it right now. But it's just, you know, how you want to play, how you want to do your content is entirely up to you. I felt burnt out trying to do games to completion. Trying to play popular games. Games that I thought I loved and ended up not liking anymore. You know? I love FNAF, don't get me wrong, I like FNAF. I have a Foxy plushie, but I got tired. I got really tired of FNAF. I didn't want to play it. Same with Cult of Lamb. I got tired. I kept losing. I was dying. Yes, it's funny for my chat. And it was funny for me too, because I was like, oh damn, I died again. But at that point, I got bored. I love games that have a story. I read daily. I read every single day, whether it's a comic or a manga or a translated chapter or a book. I read every day. I want a story. I don't just want to get stuck doing this over and over and over and over. Like, you know, that's why I don't like grinding in Pokemon. That's why Legends Arceus was so hard to finish, because I hated grinding. It was frustrating. Luckily I did have a love for Pokemon. I did finish. I got freaking Arceus. Gosh darn it. I did it. But I didn't finish Cult to Lamb. I didn't finish FNAF. I don't know if I ever will. If I do, I'm probably gonna get on the Steam. Probably gonna get a Steam and see how I can do it with the keyboard. But as of right now on the Switch, it didn't go well. And so at that point, I decided, you know, I'm just gonna play whatever I want. I'm gonna do whatever I want, however I'm feeling that week. I'm gonna decide Sunday night, Sunday morning, what I want to do that week. That's just what I decided. You know, I've been really happy with it. I've been a happy camper. I have been going to my streams, looking forward to playing the games that I want to play for that week, looking forward to what I want to do that week, you know? And, you know, I think that was good for my viewers too. So they wouldn't see that I was frustrated, that I was going to cry of frustration, that I was getting annoyed or getting upset. I didn't want to show that part of them. Like, yes, they have seen that part out of good fun where it's like, oh God, no, kind of thing. But at that time, I was genuinely feeling frustrated, like angry frustrated at myself for just being a complete failure at the game and just not being able to move forward, you know? I felt bad that one kind person brought a raid to my stream when I was like on the verge of tears trying to get some stupid little screws in an animatronic suit on sister location. I was gonna lose it. Luckily they're very kind. Their chat that came over was also very kind. I was really appreciative, but that kind of threw me off. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to feel like that again. And so I decided just to do whatever I want to do, you know, and that's how I've continued to do it. And I'm very happy with that decision. And, you know, very bright about it. I'm very, you know, I'm happy. I'm cheerful, you know. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is a live 2D model. My chat did not mind my PNG. Lots of people didn't mind the PNG. They're wonderful PNGs, my chibi and my PNG. I still use them on the thumbnails, and I can very well use them again for any PC intensive games where it can't handle my live 2D, and that's fine. I'm going to use them for that. I paid good money for all those, and they're absolutely wonderful. I believe my chibi model, I always get mixed up where the underscore is, and I'm not going to lie, I'm so sorry. But my chibi model I had commissioned from BlueCloud_Sun. My 2D model is from Alba_Dusk, all on Twitter. Found them all on Twitter, you know. And I'm very happy and very content, you know. I'll go ahead and, link their individual Twitter accounts in the description below. So if you're interested in commissioning them, go ahead. I believe Much Manga is currently making emojis right now, or I guess the VTuber model emojis. And then Blue Cloud Sun, I don't know if they have their commissions open, and Albus, I believe, also has their commissions open. If they're not, I'm sorry, just wait. Either send them a DM and ask. Again, be very courteous. These are wonderful artists, wonderful people. If you're courteous with them, they'll be courteous with you. This applies for everybody, though. I guess the main rule my mother taught me was treat others how you would like to be treated. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Anyways. So I got my live 2D, I did my debut, it was so much fun, I can do expressions, I got the jiggle physics that people seem to like a lot, and I got this actually for very cheap. You know, I was very lucky to have found the artist when I did, to have found the prices that I did find on Twitter. Some people aren't this lucky, some people aren't going to get them all this cheap. I mean, like, this is really cheap. And so, some people save up. I saw a few VTuber how to get started videos at the time when I did start out. People were like, just save up your money, just do this, just do that, you know, so on and so forth. Again, each person's path is different. Now, another thing I improved along the line was my thumbnails. I decided to go with more of a reaction thumbnail, because people seem to like my reactions. That was, I guess, the main thing that pushed me to debut when I did, was that in the course I was taking, they're like, you should do reaction videos. You should react to it. You should play this game. Because I did a video on the things I'm afraid of, and I was reacting to jump scares, and I was screaming my head off because it legitimately scared me. And my classmates loved it. They were laughing. This is hilarious. Oh my gosh. And I thought, okay, cool. You know, so I started doing like reaction kind of thumbnails, and I had 3 different expressions on my chibi model that I ended up doing, and that seems to be going really well. Again, it's very much a learning curve. You're learning along the lines of, can I do this? is it gonna work? And then you just learn if it does or not, and you kind of look at it and it's like, well, I did that. That kind of worked. But I did this. Oh, and that did not work at all. So it's very much a learning process, but as of right now, I will tell you where I'm at right now. I'm currently at, YouTube doesn't like giving me specific numbers. It gives you 3-digit numbers. But as of right now of this video, I am at, let's see. Dun 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 dun. It's not popping up. All right, we'll just look at YouTube on this thing. I should have looked up the number before I started. Last I checked, though. Okay, I'm probably still at that number. I'm currently at 1.229 followers as of right now on YouTube. I get about 8 to 10 people that show up throughout the stream. I think the peak I've gotten at the same time is about 8 viewers at the same time. That was the peak, I believe. After getting stream elements, so on and so forth. And so, but I'll get a consistent stream of people that come in every now and then. I am very familiar with their usernames. I know who they are. I remember them, so on and so forth. And then as you get bigger, I guess it's gonna be a little harder to like keep track of, but it's all a learning process. It's all a learning process. But as of right now, I have about peak 8 viewers watching at the same time. Every now and then. And that just depends too. I do that a lot. If my favorite streamer, if they're playing a horror game, I'm probably not gonna watch. I don't like horror. It scares me. I'll stream it for myself. I guess that's another reason, is if you're gonna play that game, don't watch somebody else play it first. Play it first yourself before watching their VOD. Because what if you spoil yourself, you know? And then you can't give a genuine reaction on like something that happened. Though I will admit, I did spoil myself on that one portion of the story, but I was genuinely curious who Renju's lover was, okay? I just had to know. I had an inkling. I need to double check. Anyways, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to slowly start implementing like a new overlay style, trying to learn how each social media algorithm works and try to improve and make stuff for that. Go ahead and try to edit more. I guess as of right now, I'm in a bit of a slump. And I want to try and climb out of that slump. I want to try and get out of this funk, this feeling. I just graduated in December. I still don't have a full-time job. I keep applying. I keep getting rejected. You know, rejection isn't bad. I get to look at other people's portfolios to be like, you know what? I can do that too. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to do it. That's just my main mindset, you know? And I try and stay positive throughout the whole thing because my father tells me this all the time. Life is too short to dwell on one thing. You know, sometimes some really messed up stuff happens and you're going to be sad for a really long time. I'm not saying don't be sad. I'm just saying let yourself feel sad. Let yourself feel those negative emotions and come to understand why you're feeling them. You know, if it gets to more extreme cases, please go to therapy if you can. Please confide in someone you really trust, whether it's a friend, a family member, your pet, somebody. It's going to help you along the line. But if it's a more extreme case, I do highly recommend seeking medical help, seeking therapy, whatever you can, whatever is possible for you at that time. For me personally, the way I was raised is that yes, I could feel hurt about it. But if I wasn't physically hurt, like if I didn't have a broken leg or a broken arm, thank God I've had no broken bones. But if I'm not feeling any of that, sleep it off, get up the next day and continue, you know? And it's not like I'm bottling it up. I know some people say, oh, isn't that just bottling up and ignoring your problem? No, it's not. Because you all don't know this. I don't think I've mentioned this before. I have breakdowns like every other person does. I will go to my parents. I confide in my parents. I love my parents a lot. I'm very close with my family. I'll go to them and I'll just start breaking down crying. I'll tell them how I'm feeling. I'll tell them, hey, I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. Can you give me advice? Can you give me a hug? Just let me, I'm going to tear up right now. I was crying in Jacket Box yesterday too. You know, I am very, I get, someone had told me back then, I was very emotionally mature. And it was very much, if I was feeling a certain way, I'm going to let you know how I feel so we can discuss it, so we can talk it out, so that you or I are not feeling that way. I want to clear the air. I want to get this cleared up. I want to get this solved. That's my main thing, is that if I'm feeling bad, but I'm going to think about why I'm feeling bad. I'm going to think about what can I do to improve myself, improve my mood so I'm not feeling like this. And it's a reoccurring feeling. I'm going to feel like that again later on, but at least I know deep down, like, okay, I got through this once. I'm going to get through it again. And I'm going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to keep doing all the stuff I want to do. There's absolutely so much stuff I want to do. So much stuff. But I got to take it baby steps. I got to take it a step at a time, and that's fine. I felt bad that I was getting rejected. I felt bad that people weren't looking at my stuff on social media. I felt bad that people weren't showing up on my streams. And you know what? That's fine. I felt bad about it. I felt sad. I cried. And I got over it. I got over that feeling, and I thought, okay, no. I'm going to keep improving. I'm going to keep learning and observe what other people do so I can learn from their example and adapt it to my own path that I have created. Everybody's paths are different. Everybody's experiences are different. You can just nitpick at the different things that might work for your path, and sometimes it won't. So you just throw it to the side and be like, oh, yeah, that didn't work. We'll try something else. We'll see what happens. I know another thing might be a hindrance to some people is your age. So if you are under 18, there's probably a lot of things you can't do. If you're under 21, there's probably a lot of things you do. I'm going by United States standards. I know there's like different standards and different etiquette and different other issues and problems people might be going through within their own country, their own cultures, their own life experience, and so on and so forth. Like I said, it's all different. You need to learn how to grab things that you want to try, insert it into your own path, put it on your own path, give it a try. If it didn't work out, you can decide whether to scrap it and try something else or to try and keep it and do it again. Again, it's entirely up to you. There are wonderful books, wonderful speakers, wonderful people that will help you along the way that offer really good advice that may resonate with you, or maybe it won't. And that's okay. Not all advice is supposed to resonate with people. That advice is coming from a place and my mindset of certain people that's going to resonate with certain people that share maybe similar mindsets or similar experiences. So don't look at something and be like, I'm not going to be as good. I'm not this successful right now. One of my main goals is trying to hit 100K after a year of Vtubing. Well, that didn't happen. I hit 1K, but that's still a really good, improvement, 1K is pretty good. I'm proud of the 1K. I'm proud of all the things me and my chat have done on stream. I'm proud of, being able to sit here and talk with you all, to talk with my chat and just have a really good time. So, the main thing I'm trying to tell you is don't compare yourself to others because they're not going down the same path you are. They don't have the same experiences as you are. Even people that live together, even twins don't have the same experiences as their twin does. You're never going to have the same experience as anybody. Your experience is your own experience. Your path is your own path. Okay? I just want you to know that. So it's okay if you're feeling down or if you're feeling discouraged. Just know you have to go at your own pace because this is your own life, your own path, and your own experience. And you know what the biggest advice I'm going to give you is try and have fun with it. Because you're not going to enjoy doing something if you're not having fun. I am doing this because I am having fun. I'm playing this game with all these other people on chat, on the VOD. And they're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, and they probably have different thoughts. Heck, I watched Psychopaths with my dad. I had my favorite anime, and I watched it. And I was like, wow, what'd you think? He's like, well, this, and this. And I was like, wait, what? What? And he's like, you didn't notice? And I said, no. He's like, I thought you watched this. I was like, I did. I did not notice. There's stuff he's gonna catch, and there's stuff that y'all are gonna catch that I'm not gonna catch, I guess that's a fun part of watching people play something that you've either already played or haven't played, is what the heck they're doing. It's like, how did you think that zombie was cute? And you're like, that zombie was scary. That was horrible. Like, you all probably think I have something against people named Bob and Steve. I don't. That's just the name my chat and I came up with for the monsters in Amnesia. And I was like, oh man, Steve, it's a water monster. That killed me several times. So much to the point that the game gave me a freebie and just didn't have him on that level and just let me go to the door. It was quite sad. You know? Just stuff like that. I'm thinking of all the fun stuff. If you like who I am right now, if you're interested in looking at my other VTuber stuff, if you're interested in VTubers, I suggest just looking them up. Looking up games that you like and just seeing what people do when they play them. If you like me as a person, though, I do highly suggest if you check out my channel, check out my playlist, pick a game you like, and just watch and have fun. You know, and you don't have to do that. I'm just throwing that out there because I guess that's what other YouTubers do. You know, it's like, hey, like and subscribe. Click the notification bell and whatever. I don't know. I just kind of let people do their own thing. Hey, I'm picky too. If there's content I don't like, I'm gonna unsubscribe later on, or I just won't follow. You know, I only follow or subscribe if I really like the content. Simple as that. The internet is very much a place where you can pick and choose what you want to see and what you don't want to see. The proper etiquette is if you don't like it, ignore it, block it, mute it, never look at it again. If you do like it, like, subscribe, follow, comment, you know, all that good stuff. Anyways, that is the end for our current Tonia Talk. Again, feel free to comment and share your own experiences and your own thoughts in the comments below. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the morning, afternoon, or evening in whichever part of the world you're in. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!